Talofa lava, this is Pacific Waves from RNZ Pacific. I'm Susana Suisuki. Coming up, Samoa's general election comes to an end. Also,
Bougainvillean President Ismail Toraama saying very clearly that the independence was non-negotiable.
independence remains a critical issue for Bougainville, and
this year we've performed songs in Estonian, in French, in Te Reo, in Tongan, and Samoan.
Kiwi school choirs take on the big sing. Polls have just closed in Samoa, where more than 100,000 eligible voters had registered to vote on Friday. A total of 187 candidates had contested for 50 seats in Parliament, representing 6 political parties and 46 independents. I spoke with our reporter Grace Viva-Ai, who was in Apia. Talofa lava, Grace, voting has now closed in Samoa. How would you describe the process and the mood amongst the voters this week?
Yes, talofa lava, Susana. Well, besides the heat here in Samoa, I'd say the atmosphere has been very calm. Also, a bit of anticipation. People have been waiting for such a long time. And, after speaking to some voters today, we were stationed out at Rotofanga, the caretaker Prime Minister's constituency. And so a lot of them have said, they've left it up to God. One person said that no one's meant to know what I voted for, while another has said that they just can't wait to the end of today's results. A lot of them were quite reluctant, though, to speak about who they've voted for, which is fair enough. But, it's a sense of calm, and it's also a public holiday. So everyone just wants to move on from what's been described as months of, political turmoil. And so people are wanting stability. They want to see the manifestos come into place, whether it be, SUP, HRPP, as well as FAST.
Can you provide an update with the provisional results? What are we seeing so far?
Whaleata numero lua, Wayne Fong, he has been declared as the MP for that constituency. So we've only got one declared already. For the preliminary results, Falealili numero lua, which is number 2, they've filled all the booths except for pre-polling and special votes yet to come. Leading in the Falealili number 2 constituency, Sana, we've got FAST, Fuimao no Maiava Tito Asafo leading in that constituency. So it'll be interesting to see the pre-polling and special votes come through for that. It's going to be a very long night, as we've seen all media just popping up to each of the stations to get the updates and things like that. So fingers crossed that we do get some, fully updated preliminary results by tonight. Tomorrow and then Monday through to Friday, we'll see some confirmation from the Electoral Commissioner.
Local media has reported that there were people still waiting to cast their votes well after the 3 p.m. closing time. This story came from Leova'a, by the way. What do you know about that?
Well, it's funny you say that. Myself and my colleague Mark, who was here with me in Samoa, our VJ, we're just driving back. We were stationed at Rotofanga, as I mentioned before, and on our way into Apia, we came past Waimaunga, Numera, Tasi, and also those constituencies are considered the biggest constituencies here in Samoa on the main island of Upolu, and they were still lined up. We even sent photos through to our Teams channel of those still, lined up, and this was just going on to 3 o'clock. But in the press conference, the last press conference, we had with the Electoral Commissioner, he did confirm that, say that the booths do close on time at 3 p.m. and we still, there are still people lined up outside. They'll be issued a docket, and then from there, they'll finish off the polling booths. But say someone comes late and they didn't get issued a docket, well then that's a hefty fine for them. So yes, correct. People are still lining up, and I can confirm as well, as we had seen on our way in, and we stopped in one of the constituencies of Waimaunga.
It sounds like overall the election week has been peaceful.
Correct. It has been very peaceful. The 2-day public holiday. We, drove past some beach fales, and they've been packed out. People just enjoying themselves. Town was really good because then there were no, cars out and about, no buses, taxis, and it was just really nice to see that everything is calm today. I guess everyone is just waiting for the results.
The dominant issue going into next week's election in Bougainville is a little different from the last election 5 years ago. The quest for independence dominates as the autonomous Papua New Guinea region goes to the polls on 4th September. Don Wiseman has this report.
In 2020, there were strong expectations Bougainville would soon be independent, given the result of an overwhelming referendum for independence just months earlier. That hasn't happened yet, and Port Moresby has still to concede much ground. Most recently at Burnham and Christchurch in June, little progress was made.
Papua New Guinean Prime Minister James Marape, he referred to the Burnham as the spiritual home of the Bougainvillean peace process. And yet, on the other hand, you have the Bougainvillean president, Ismail Toroama, saying very clearly that the independence was non-negotiable and setting out a number of terms, including the fact that Bougainville was to become independent by, I think it's the 1st of September 2027. And if Papua New Guinea did not ratify that Bougainville would make a unilateral declaration of independence.
That's Massey University's Anna Poles. There are 7 people standing for the presidency, including long-time MP in the National Parliament, Joe Lira. He says everyone wants independence, but he wants to see a more conciliatory tone from the Bougainville government.
I think the answer has been already given in the Bougainville Peace Agreement, which is a joint creation between the PNG and ABC government. And the process is very clear. Now, what the current government is doing is they are going outside of the peace agreement, and they are trying to shortcut based on the result. But the peace agreement doesn't say independence will be given to us based on the result. What it says is after we know the result, the two governments must continue to dialogue, consult each other, and find ways of how to improve the economy, the law and order issues, the development issues. When we fix those, that nation-building pillars, we can then apply for the ratification to take place.
The incumbent Bougainville president, Ismail Toroama, has no intention of deviating from the path he's been following.
It gives us the opportunity, whether the national government likes him or not, it is a national constitution guarantees all the framework of the Bougainville Peace Agreement. And that is how I'm saying to them, whether we come into consultation, we have different views, at least it is the constitutional guaranteed process sanctioned by the national constitution.
Achieving sovereignty as soon as possible is the driving force for the man who's been leading Bougainville's campaign, the Independence Implementation Minister, Ezekiel Massad. He says the signing of the Melanesian Agreement at the Burnham meeting was pivotal to this.
We must obtain political independence in order to have some sovereign powers, in order to make strategic economic decisions. Now, given the Melanesian Agreement, where Bougainville can assume some sovereign powers, I think that's a great start in the right direction.
Ezekiel Massad is standing in the Tonshu electorate in North Bougainville. Former Army officer Thomas Rivett is running for president for a second time, and he's confident that he and his new Bougainville Party colleagues, Nick Pennyai and Joe Lira, can be a formidable presence given the impact of preference votes.
New Bougainville Party, we believe that we can make a difference because for the last 5 years, nothing has really happened here. And maybe 5 years ago, and maybe we go back 10 years, nothing has really happened for us. So I see there's an opportunity just to be part of the development of New Bougainville in a new way.
Sam Kauna, who once led the Bougainville Revolutionary Army alongside Ismail Toroama, is another presidential candidate. He's run before, but says this time he will win because of the Toroama government's failure to bring independence.
Because the government for the last 5 years did not achieve what Bougainvillians, what we wanted. They were concentrating on one option only. That's why we wasted the last 5 years and we did not achieve anything.
The vote in Bougainville is being held over just one day for the first time, with results anticipated within a week.
The Fiji Council of Social Services says interfaith dialogue could improve religious tolerance in the country. The organisation's national president made the comment after recent attacks on Hindu temples and artefacts. Sepesa Rasili says the acts are not isolated cases and the law alone is not enough to prevent such sacrilege. Mr. Rasili told Margot Staunton it's up to Fijian society to unite against religious and cultural intolerance.
If there's desecration for a place of worship, what does that mean in terms of our religious tolerance? From the different denominations, the different interfaith, we talk about tolerance, we talk about love and compassion for each other. So if that is happening with different religious organizations and houses of worship, what does that mean in terms of our individual communities? Because it's inciting violence, even though it's only a place of worship or the holy books that these different faith-based groups or faith-based organizations value.
So what does your organisation think should be done? You've mentioned that the law doesn't seem to be enough to stop these ongoing assault on these places of worship.
We're calling on not only church leaders, but the leaders of our Vanua, of our people, and Deputy Prime Minister said that it should not be condoned. So we're calling for that.
How realistic do you think it is, though, calling for national unity? I mean, as you say, these are not isolated acts. This is an ongoing issue. Is discussion between different religious organisations going to be enough to prevent this kind of thing?
That could be a start to progress on the different interdenominational groups and networks that exist. And there's tolerance, there's compassion and working together. It is a mammoth task, but we need to feed into that conversation. We need to bring everybody to the table, that it's not only the leaders that works on it, the national leaders, but you look at the divisional and goes right down to the communities and families. Right? So the conversation needs to be at different levels to ensure that there's more tolerance, there's more acceptance, there's more compassion for the different beliefs that exist in Fiji.
There was talk fairly recently of police getting involved with Hindu leaders talking about strengthening security. Do you know if anything's been done on that front?
There's been conversations around that. There's always concern that if they do step forward, they'll be pushed back. Because with change, with development, with new things, or coming together as a group from different angles of faith or different sectors of faith, there'll always be that uncertainty. It has happened or it continues to happen, but the Fiji Council of Social Service stands ready to help make that conversation be more meaningful, to ensure that there's reduction or reduced violence or sacrilege or places of worship.
How can the council facilitate something like that?
There are members of different faith communities that are members of our network that have had consultations with them. They're part of our conversations at national level, divisional level, and also the Fiji Council of Churches is a member of the Fiji Council of Social Services. We can use those opportunities to re-explore ways in which to have that conversation at the national level and also at the subnational level.
Dunedin's hills are alive with the sound of music as the Big Sing competition for school choirs heats up. The top 24 secondary school choirs have been singing their hearts out over 3 days ahead of a gala concert on Saturday. Tess Brunton has more.
Competition is tight at Big Sing, with more than 200 secondary school choirs whittled down to the top 24 for finale. Close to 1,000 singers from across the Motu have converged on Dunedin. Atalia and Tani from King's College are among them. It's Atalia's first Big Sing finale.
This is my first time doing choir this year, so I just wanted to try something new, and I've really fallen in love with it, and I've got such a lovely choir at school.
She's learned how to sing in different languages.
This year we've performed songs in Estonian, in French, in Te Reo, in Tongan, in Samoan, so it's been really cool. We get a lot of exposure to different cultures and different languages through our songs, and it's not like songs that you'd hear every day, so it's so cool.
Tani says his family and church have inspired his love of singing.
I'm really excited to sing a Tongan piece we're singing, Ta Koi Sola. It's a song created by the Queen Salote. It's about his son graduating from university. So yeah, excited to sing something of my culture.
Southland Girls High School Choir FAM road-tripped up from Invercargill and rehearsed on stage before the first recital session started yesterday afternoon. Choir member Millie Cottam is glad the Big Sing finale is in Dunedin this year.
It's definitely great having the opportunity for our family to come up, and also quite a few of the past Femme girls are here studying at Otago University, so they're able to come along and watch us, so that'll be really special.
Abigail Hillman says she's grown to appreciate more music genres.
When I first started, I hated the classical stuff. I thought it was so boring. But as I've matured, I've found it to really be beautiful and really appreciate being able to learn how to sing that kind of stuff.
Olive Upston from Takapuna Grammar School says it's her second year at Finale.
It's an incredible opportunity for everyone to go to. I feel like it's something that we all experience as a collective, and it's very important for singers and like-minded people to come together.
She says Dunedin Town Hall's iconic organ features in their performance.
We do have a piece called Magnificat by Eleanor Daly. We're very excited to perform that piece because we have an organ and it's just going to be a magical experience, I think.
You're playing Norma. LeBron Young from Dilworth School was feeling calm and collected as performance time approached. His choir fortissimo was up first.
I'm pretty excited. We've had a lot of practices this whole year. I just hope we can get on the stage and do it justice.
Yahan from St Cuthbert's College is feeling nervous but excited as she goes into her third finale.
I love the community that everyone has built here. We are so supportive of all the other choirs and the other choirs to us as well. And yeah, it's just exciting putting our hard work to an actual product.
People can tune in and watch the gala concert live stream on Saturday night on the RNZ website.
That's Pacific Waves for today. For all episodes, head over to rnz.co.nz/Pacific. We're also on Spotify, Apple and iHeartRadio. From myself and the RNZ Pacific team, tō whā sui fua.